Flatulators, round up. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon, the whoopee cushion on the view, trying to consume some fresh toxic gas so she can hike her leg, release that boodle breeze sitting next to Big Red. Just hit the east side, the view on ABC. Who is your favorite yenta? Mine is Sunny, but earlier this morning she took a backseat, so lies could be spread by unknown Annie. Oh! The carbon monoxide detectors, they were working overtime as the toxic mouth farts reached record high levels this morning on The View. You know, I almost feel bad for the yentas. Keyword, almost. I don't care how much money you're being paid. It has got to be absolutely miserable to lie for a living. I've hated every job that I've ever had. Besides this one, of course. I don't really consider this a job. I consider myself extremely fortunate to be able to do what I love every day for a living. I have you guys to thank for that. But when I was working, I hated every job I ever had. 2004, got my first real job at Radio Shack. Barf. 2006, I got a job at another Fortune 500 company, Fastenal. I worked there for 7 years. Now, Fastenal was a great place for a young man like myself to learn, but like most jobs, it was painfully boring. Plus, they expected you to work 50 hours a week, and they only wanted to pay you for 40. Double barf. The last 7 years that I spent in the workforce, it was for a mid-sized company that sold process instrumentation. Again, I learned a lot while I was there. Biggest lesson I learned was I'm not cut out to work for someone else. But like the other two jobs, that job also painfully boring. But one thing I can say about all three of those jobs, I didn't have to lie for a living. Matter of fact, deception was frowned upon. It was an easy way to get your ass fired. It is the complete opposite with the yentas on The View. Not only does lying seem to be encouraged, creating myths and fairy tales, it seems to be what these women are paid to do. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. There was a noticeable absence this morning on The View. The absence, it was glaring to the naked eye, and if you have a working nose, her absence was damn sure noticed. For some reason, the whoopee cushion, she wasn't at work this morning. Now, my inside sources, they are telling me that the absence of the whoopee cushion, it might be due to a defective leg. As you guys know, the cushion, she went into overdrive last week cranking her leg. At one point last week, the cranking was so strong, the winds of the boodle breeze, it was reaching Category 5 levels. We're talking toxic flatulence that was spreading at 155 miles an hour. That is some strong shit. The combined smell and wind strength, it's enough to knock over the Lizzo. I mean, there are small forklifts that aren't powerful enough to topple the Lizzo. When the whoopee cushion reaches Category 5 levels, her boodle breeze, it has the strength to cause a tsunami in the woke sea. So dozens of lonely women, they were disappointed this morning when they realized a bum leg had the whoopee cushion on IR. But that's okay. That's okay. Luckily for those lonely women, ABC has plenty of backup yentas who can fill the air with toxic mouth farts. But before we get to that, let's get to the sponsor for today's video, the latest card game, which happens to fit perfectly since we are talking about The View today, Get Woke, Go Broke. Do you have that one friend in your friend group that is easily offended? We all have that one friend that's fun to mess with who is easily triggered at the slightest joke. If you're hanging out one night drinking with your easily offended friend, make sure to break out a copy of the newest card game, Get Woke, Go Broke. Get Woke, Go Broke. It is the ideal game for inappropriate adult parties. The game is designed to reveal the hidden side of your friends. Get Woke, Go Broke. It includes over 500 cards packed with satire and politically incorrect humor. Gameplay is very simple, very simple. The dealer draws a red card asking a reasonable question, and you have a collection of blue cards, and the goal is to provide the wokest, most ridiculous answer. For example, this card here, it says, "What is America's most valuable treasure?" I mean, the answer's obvious, right? The whoopee cushion's boodle breeze. Get Woke, Go Broke is designed to ignite debates amongst friends and family. Or if you're like me and you hang out with like-minded people, the game, it's designed to keep you and your friends and family laughing at deacons at Woke United Methodist. Get Woke, Go Broke, brand new card game, and it was designed with the assistance of veterans in our military. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL to receive $5 off your first purchase of Get Woke, Go Broke, the card game. All right, yesterday we discussed the abundance of blame that was going around due to the attack on Donald Trump. Some people are blaming the Secret Service. More specifically, some are blaming the supposed hiring practices of the Secret Service. I didn't know this until yesterday, but it seems like the fungus of diversity, equity, and inclusion has infected the Secret Service. Really? You know, it's one thing for Dollar General to hire based on diversity and equity. If Dollar General hires Sammy pretending to be Susie because they've got to fill their quota of men aspiring to be women, who gives a shit? I don't shop at Dollar General, but if I did, I could not care less about their hiring standards. But when it comes to important positions like, I don't know, protecting former presidents, I want the best of the best. If the best Secret Service agents are 10 white dudes named Judy, I want them protecting the president. If the best agents are 10 black dudes named Horace, I want them protecting the president. Now, some people, they are blaming Johnny B. Biden. Some are claiming that the Biden administration was negligent. It's being reported that the Trumper requested an increase in his security detail multiple times, and he was either denied or ignored. Now, some are blaming the cop who allegedly encountered the kid on the roof and ran away. There is plenty of blame being thrown around, and according to the Yentas on The View, all this blaming, it's unnecessary. According to America's favorite flatulators, there's no need to blame the Secret Service. There's no need to blame Johnny B. Biden. No! It's painfully obvious where the blame should be. Watch for yourself.
Because we can't just react when it is our side. What was this again? It was, a 20-year-old lone wolf, white, whack job with easy access to a gun. And we have to have a conversation about that. Because it wasn't a drag queen. It wasn't an immigrant. It wasn't a pissed off liberal woman. This keeps happening. We need to react not as left or right, not as Republicans or Democrats. We need to react as Americans.
According to a CNN report, a senior law enforcement official said that he bought 50 rounds of ammunition from a local gun store hours before the rally. Shouldn't that have been reported? Somebody buys a 20-year-old white guy? I mean, we've seen that many times now, young white men with guns, and nobody reported that he bought 50 rounds of ammunition?
Let me ask you something. What the hell does race have to do with this? You saw in the clip, they could barely contain themselves. They could not wait to point out the race of the shooter. It wasn't someone like RuPaul. It wasn't one of the undocumented future voters crossing the southern border. It wasn't a bearded beauty. We should be blaming the white man. Andy Navarro or Annie Navarro or Anne or who cares? It doesn't matter what her name is. She's one of the anonymous women on The View. She claimed that we keep seeing this happen. We keep seeing the white man do this. The guy responsible for the Uvalde incident a couple of years ago, his name was Salvador Ramos. Now, I've never seen him before. I couldn't point him out in a one photo lineup, but I'm going to guess that he wasn't Caucasian. 3 months ago, April 29th, I believe, 4 police officers, they lost their lives and another 4 were wounded while serving a warrant to a guy named Terry Clark Hughes. Now, I guarantee you, you didn't hear about this story in the mainstream media. I didn't hear about it. I didn't know about it until I was researching this video. Want to know why we didn't hear about this on The View? Because the suspect in that case, he was a black man. Are there a lot of white men responsible for things like this? Obviously, of course. But there are a lot of men in general, of all races, responsible for it. Race has absolutely nothing to do with it. In a lot of these cases, the suspects are mentally ill, or at least it's reported that they are. Last I checked, mental illness, it wasn't racist. Mental illness does not discriminate. It affects people of all races and genders. Here's the thing. I actually agreed with the sentiment of what Ana Navarro was saying this morning. Most of what she said was absolutely right. We don't need to react differently when these tragedies are convenient for our political narrative. We should react to these tragedies the same no matter what political party the suspect belonged to. But then she completely contradicts herself. She couldn't help it. The Yentas just could not help themselves. They had to make it about race. You know, this show is a disgrace. If I wanted to, I could talk about The View every day here on the channel, because every day they are spreading propaganda like this. And this is a direct defiance to the edict that their fearless leader sent out just last night. Last night, John Biden, he spoke for about 10 minutes from the Oval Office. He asked for the political temperature to be decreased. Not even 12 hours later, the Yentas on The View, they are one of the first ones to break the rules of our fearless leader. The good thing about The View, they have no influence. This show is the laughingstock of the mainstream media. No one takes The View seriously. Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, the great pretender, she tries to be taken seriously, but most people view her as a traitor to the Trumper. No one listens to what she has to say. Sun Hostin, she's just there to provide radiance. We all know the purpose of the whoopee cushion. The two anonymous women on this show, they're just collecting a paycheck. I mean, seriously. What is the purpose of The View? It's not informative. It's not entertaining. What is the purpose of this dump? You tell me. Also, give me your thoughts on Ana Navarro, I think is her name. Give me your thoughts on her and Joy Behar claiming that this problem only applies to the white man. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.